Hey everyone, welcome to Shoot the Shit. Keith Coogan from Don't
Rock
Tell
and
Me
roll.
Babysitter's Dead, Adventures in Babysitting, Toy Soldiers, and tons of awesome 80s television. And don't forget Jan Silent Bob Reboot, which I saw the other day as well. I mean,
that is awesome. Well, hi, Jeff. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So, well, let's crack the beer first.
Let's crack a beer. All right. Oh, it didn't explode on me. That's nice. Salud. La sweetie. Ah. That just does it right there. Let's see. 0.004% alcohol. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. I've had Steel Reserve, which is, ridiculous malt liquor alcohol levels. And over the years, and Andrew Devoff, believe it or not, Luis Cali from Toy Soldiers. He's also currently on Perry Mason. He's fantastic on that. Andrew Devoff is a brewmaster. How do you say that, honey?
Brewmaster, yeah.
Crafter, and has brewery and stuff. And
nice.
He's teaching me how to enjoy different and why different glasses are used for different kinds. I was just fascinated.
Yeah.
Although I can crack a bud and be fine.
Yeah, I'm across the board. Like when I'm just drinking beer, I'll drink PBR normally. Then I'll go into more of the craft beers and do reviews and I like drinking them. I mean, I like a decent IPA and sour and stout and all that stuff. So what have you been doing with yourself?
Been locked down in quarantine. That's brutal, man. It shut down, Hollywood. So even the spigot went down to, rumor is they probably won't ever do in-Rome auditions for, foreseeable future. It's going to be all self-tape, which a lot of it had been self-tape already. I also had a straight job tour guide at Sony Studios, former MGM, where my grandfather and great-grandfather partnered with Louis B. Mayer on a bunch of pictures. And so that got shut down, the day after Tom Hanks tested positive for COVID-19. And so jumped right into a couple of weeks and worked on the Quarantine Bunch, which, there's former child stars have a secret group where they get together and support each other and tell war stories. And they usually meet at, one former child star's house and picnic and, have fun, barbecue and stuff. Because of coronavirus, we are now forced to take those meetings online onto Zoom, and viewers can go onto YouTube and watch. It's anti-comedy. It's very crazy and strange. There's nothing real about it at all. But it's a fun show. I think 6 episodes or so of that. And Pinky and I started putting some stuff on YouTube. My wife and I have a YouTube channel, and we're trying to bring together what it's like for me as an actor, and then me learning about more about the fans, and from the fan side of things, fangirls, people that like to take selfies or get autographs. I've always been a fan of, I think Bowser was the first autograph I ever got from Sean on maybe Robin Williams shortly after that, and then I wound up working with Robin Williams. I don't know, we're just throwing up stuff on there and starting the YouTube channel. And what was the other stuff we're doing? Painting, which is really fun. Everything, I was doing an autograph convention with Larry, what's his last name? Soup Nazi? From Seinfeld. And he signs soup ladles, And so a friend of mine came up and had a little blue dish at my first autograph convention. He goes, "You should sign it and put dishes are done, man." And so I started doing that at every show. So I just wrapped up a couple here and off to the post office. Sad that I can't get to any autograph conventions. One of the things I've missed the most, other than Hollywood, being able to romp around Sony Studios, as a tour guide, just dream jobs. But the autograph conventions, those being cut off, those are fun. We try to do 4, 5, 6 a year, whatever's available. So, just trying to adapt to the change. How are you doing?
I'm good. I mean, family's locked down here in Louisville, and slowly opening back up. And whenever restaurants start hiring executive chefs again, and I'll most likely hop back in that. But doing this now, I guess I sent an email. I wanted to branch out. I wanted to just shoot the shit with people and not be like make it like a formal interview. I want to drink a beer with you. Like initially, I wanted to do it at cons and going out and like sitting up almost like hot ones or like between two ferns, but not ridiculously like funny, but just sit around and just shoot the shit and drink a beer and talk about stuff and horror.
So you're gonna get if you run into a celebrity you really, really love and you find out they're in recovery, that's gonna be a tough show. But you can go over O'Doul's and other brands to talk about flavor and stuff and just really trigger them into a relapse. So I don't know, be careful with that.
Well, root beer. They can do root beer. Like Stephen King. Like my dad said something, he goes, "Oh, you should interview Stephen King." And I'm like, yeah, he had a major drug and alcohol problem through the 80s. Granted, he put out amazing stuff, but he doesn't drink or do anything anymore. But if that comes to it, so be it. I'll adapt to that. But right now, I just want to see where I can go, talk to people, and drink a beer with them, find out what they're doing, what about like things they've done, and like don't tell mom the babysitter's dead. Like that was such a great movie.
Thanks. Lucky to have a small part in that, and loved.
A small part?
No, I mean a small role in the success. Obviously, writers, directors, cast. I'm just a piece of that puzzle. But I understand you're an executive chef now. Where would you get an inspiration? I'm sorry, I'm being a dick.
Because you.
That's ridiculous.
Became the caterer in the end, and like it kind of clicked in my head. I'm like, wow, if I cook food for a living, I'm never going to go hungry. I can eat. Like I said, I'm a 7 foot tall man. I like to eat food, and it goes hand in hand. Like I watched that, I'm like, oh, shit, you know what? I can cook food, and then I can eat it as well. But I love that whole drastic change, like in your character. That went from stoner, hippie, grungy, almost metalhead to like clean cut, very prompt. Like when it comes down to something that you give a shit about, like you're willing to completely change.
Interesting way to put it. True. I guess the catalyst was food, because it's smoking out and getting the munchies and watching Julia Brothers, on her show last night, and then that finding. You never know. They tell you in school what you're going to do or go be, or you look in the want ads for what's out there, but, getting inspired to try something you've never really thought to try before. You're like, I like this, and I'm learning about it. And I was, I have to admit, absolutely most attracted to that transition to a redemption arc from, I get to play the worst layabout, most selfish, non-family member in the family, and then, kind of transform into the end. It's Kenneth now. Yeah. And so I want to say, and I really appreciate hearing that. And I've had other stories, messages and letters, and people I've met at conventions. I'd say a few, but that would be a lie. I'd say at least a good half a dozen now, absolutely direct conversations with people that said, that became a catalyst to go, and they are now, like 5-star chef in a resort in Miami. So that's amazing. And of all the things I have done, after school specials on McCarthyism and censorship, on natural growing versus Alar on apples, I have done important work on animal and children's rights in stories that I try to tell. The last thing I ever thought about, don't tell mom the babysitter is dead, this might affect people's lives like that. So, this Kenny guy, I think that's amazing, and I just love it. I just love to hear that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And Adventures in Babysitting. My favorite line, one of my favorite lines in any 80s comedy was from that movie. You had nothing to do with it, but the hot dog scene, was pure gold.
If you don't have any cash, then I don't have a wiener. So did you know the gentleman that played the hot dog cart vendor is the head of the Extras Union in Canada, and that scene was not shot at the bus station. They went down to the same bus station that's in Midnight Run when they got to get to Chicago and get to Chicago. They had already shot all of the Penelope Ann Miller stuff with that, and the editors. Fred Steinkamp, yeah. They said we need one more bit, one more chunk. Is there anything we else could do at the bus station? So they're standing there, and it's early in the day, and they go, well, we could make a little fake thingy and do the hot dog cart, and they'd come up with the idea for the hot dog scene. They're like, well, we can't get anybody to set. We got to cast it and stuff. And the head of the Extras unit goes, I am actually an actor. I can just do it. I could just hop. And they go, he's the perfect type to, put shit in his beard and steamed up the hot dogs. And I think they just created that scene pretty much on the spot. They shot it, I think, right after lunch, either just prior to lunch or right after lunch. It was filmed in front of the Chop Shop set on a false wall in front of the Chop Shop set. And, shot really quick, and it is one of the, if you look really closely, you can kind of tell it's not shot in the same bus station, but they tried to make it look like it, and it is. It's great wordplay throughout the whole thing, and it gives her more business to do, especially the stuff with the check, and it pays off great with Elizabeth Shue going, I could write you a check for the $5 to Dawson. He's like, get out of here.
No, those two movies from late 80s, early 90s were absolutely pure comic gold and just such great movies. So, are there any roles back then when you were a teenager that you sat there and were like, oh shit, I should have went for that role, or you got the opportunity but turned it down?
Yes, more the latter, more that I did get the opportunity to go up for, just about everything. I got really lucky to get Adventures of Babysitting and Hiding Out and Under the Boardwalk and Cheetah and Cousins and Toy Soldiers, Don't Tell Mom, maybe some Snake and ninja movies and ski movies in there. But there's also another couple hundred that I did get to audition for. And let's just start real young. E.T., move up into Goonies, Gremlins, audition for Stand By Me, Christmas Story, and just grateful that I got Brad for Adventures of Babysitting. That was, really a huge breakout for me. So I thank Chris Columbus for helping me get that. And I've heard two things on it. One is you get cast in the things you're right for. So I auditioned for things I was so wrong for. I maybe had a shot at 16 Candles as Farmer Ted, but I was a little young. I think Michael Hall, was the appropriate age. I was maybe 15, he was 17. That's a big difference there. Trust me, especially when you're trying to ask Elizabeth Shue out. And then they, oh wait, what were we talking about? Sorry. Good beer. Oh no, really? What were we talking about?
Oh no. Whatever. So let's talk about. You're into horror too. I'm guessing a little bit as well.
I do. I love. I was raised on psychological horror thrillers like A Clockwork Orange and Exorcist. Throwing some Catholicism in your horror, and you really get you. But it hit its stride with sneaking copies of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Evil Dead 2. And then watching The Thing, I think at 4 o'clock in the morning. That was another kind of benchmark. The Fly, Jeff Goldblum. And
Cronenberg.
Cronenberg. As a matter of fact, in Adventures of Babysitting, when we approach the Chop Shop and drive up, and when we're running away from the Chop Shop, you can see Brundle's dock, the entrance to his apartment. Chris Columbus wanted to make sure that he got a shot of the same. It's called the Cronenberg Alley in Toronto, and so he references The Fly in Adventures of Babysitting with a shot, puts the camera in the same spot that it was in for The Fly. So I love those little details, and then director can tell you we haven't done any commentaries for these movies, and I think it's between Chris Columbus and Steve Herrick, and bring the writers in there too. It was really collaborative between them, the writers, and the cast. We would all pound out jokes and once again try to find that line. Oh, that's too far. But is it funny? If we could just get to funny, it didn't matter who wrote it. We'd put it in there.
Nice. So, what's on your horizon? Like, what do you have any plans? Like anything, any hidden movies that you're gonna do, or anyone's asked you to do, or?
With stuff on pause right now, nothing is really moving forward. And really the thing in Hollywood now is, you continue to, I'm just, grateful. I've been in this business I've been union, I think, 44 years. And that I've still got my union card. I've still got great representation. Courtney Peldon over at Aqua Talent. And that, so very lucky there. And to still be working, whether it's web series or the internet or independent film or shorts. I ask two questions when somebody asks me to do something. Is it union? And I'll always make them sign the appropriate contract. There's contracts they can get away with paying as little as $125 a day to get A-list talent through Screen Actors Guild. Not that I'm A-list, but it allows me to work on it, not jeopardize my pension and my union status for 44 years. And I want to be involved in as much as I can. So I'll flip shows and turn them union. And the second question is, does it pay anything? And if it really doesn't pay any money, then I'm in. Because nothing perverts the artistic endeavor like a big chunk of cash. Biggest regret in my career is the money I took, a job I took just for the money. So you don't have to worry about that when you're talking about $125 a day for 8 hours of work. You just kind of get to the story. And so everybody is, yes, you've got the mainstream way to go. And casting directors and I've been able to read for great stuff like Ford versus Ferrari. Great example. As of yet to come out movie with A-list people and stuff. I'm like, really? I'm auditioning for these things? Very happy. Great directors. Definitely bit roles, couple lines, guy number 3, Doctor 2, that kind of stuff. But somebody's getting that work, and I like to pay my gas bill and have rent. And I never, my whole life, I've always been able to do straight jobs. Because you have to. There's, my grandfather had a big, dip in his career from the kid with Charlie Chaplin to Uncle Fester on the Addams Family. There's about 45 years in there between them. He didn't necessarily make a living as an actor. And so you have to be able to have real world skills. So I'm proud to be able to do that and also still have a door in Hollywood. Basically, they open the door and I've been lying on the porch and they can't move the door because that just won't go away. So, everybody, you've got the mainstream way, which most actors just say that's it. And you can get lucky. Timing has to be right. And maybe right now people want to see me as a bad guy more, going against type. That might be fun. And then the other thing is everybody really is making their own content. Matthew Reese, with the new Perry Mason, he's producing it. He's starring in it. That all of the people that are really doing it right now are doing it themselves. So, developing my own projects as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah,
man.
I had to drop a budget to make a budget.
True. So, what are your feelings on remakes and reboots and stuff like that? Like if someone told you that they were going to redo Adventures in Babysitting.
They did.
They did?
Yes, it's the 100th Disney Channel original movie on Disney Channel. It's titled Adventures in Babysitting, and it stars two babysitters that mix phones up, and then they trade. They both have kids out on the town that night, which was remember Out on the Town was the the UK title for Adventures in Babysitting, and then they have to learn to put their differences aside and get through the night and get the kids home in time. It's great. It's rated G for kids. You can plop your 8-year-old in front of it, not have to worry about Thor being a homo or what's going to happen when we get to Devereaux Street. You and your girls, they're going to be dead meat. People will tell me my kid, I show him Adventures of Babysitting. I'm like, how old are they? They're like 6. And I went, and they went, yeah. The next day they ran around the house, shit. It's just, there's a lot of, and that's why I think kids really liked it, because it was PG-13, but it had enough salty language to go, this is kind of dangerous and on the edge. And if mom and dad truly watched the whole movie, they'd go, oh, no. There's some words in there that you can't say. So yeah, they did Adventures of Babysitting. They are doing Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead right now. This is a diverse cast, so it's going to be African American or Black family. There's a whole new story to tell in that universe, or maybe not in that universe, just with that kind of storyline. Really, the premise of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead is predicated by, there were a lot of movies where the parents left town and everything kind of fell apart, and things got out of control, risky business, that kind of stuff. And so the creators, Neil Lando, Tara Ison, they said, well, what would happen in a movie if the parents left town and the kids got their act together? And everything was actually better when the parents came back. So that concept is being done in a new Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. I pray that John Cryer revisits Hiding Out. I think it's fantastic. We'd love to see what Eddie is doing now. We can get Annabeth Gish will be on board. We can do this. And of course, Toy Soldiers has been floated with Queen Latifah attached. It's an all-girls school. Yeah. They probably call their parents, us, and we come out and get absolutely kidnapped and held hostage. So then the girls have to rescue their dads. Yeah. That's my plot. I'm just saying.
Well, there you go. You should make it.
I know. And we get Will Wheaton to play Jimmy Trotta, Joey Trotta's twin brother, because of course we know that Joey suffered a terrible fate on the steps of the Regis Academy. Yeah. I look, every once in a while, just to mess with Will, because I love him. He's like a brother. And, brothers kind of give themselves noogies every once in a while, just to let them know that you love them. Every once in a while on a post about Toy Soldiers, I'll just scream out, Joey Trotta lives, with like 3 exclamation points. Joey Trotta. So yes, now I just got to get involved in more of these remakes and reboots. And so when I asked Kevin Smith if I could be involved in reboot, and he, said yes, you're in. I was so grateful and so happy to do it. It was so fun. I've never been on a set like that. Kevin Smith's amazing, obviously. No one like him. No one like him in the industry. Actually, he could change the industry. I don't know if you have to be a part of it to change it or not. He did. He went in and he goes, yeah, I did that and it sucks. And I'm like, yeah, everybody knows that. They just keep doing it industry way. You bitch about it and do other different things, and that's what's different about Kevin Smith. Most people suck it up, take the check, and just make what they're supposed to make for the studio. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Studio's looking after a bottom line. There's no psyop. There's no one's trying to control our, brains with what Hollywood is creating. They just know that they need people to buy tickets and sit and escape and enjoy something big and fun and explosive on screen.
It's all business.
Yeah. I mean, look, I prefer it. I mean, if it's going to be a romantic comedy or something, it's a Netflix Redbox kind of deal. If it's Star Wars, a Marvel, something big, explosive, Godzilla, you got to see it in the theater, man, and shake those seats.
Exactly. And that's what's scary about this whole COVID stuff, man. That theaters are dying. Like I don't know how it's one of those.
They're dying things. At the same time that they lifted the anti-monopoly on studios owning theaters. Mm-hmm. Remember when they broke up theaters owning chains, and it one of the companies had to eat it, and it was RKO back then. RKO got swallowed up. So we just saw 20th and Disney kind of merge and stuff. That's very strong. Amazing product there. I really need to see Die Hard, Alien, and the Disney princesses in something together.
There you go.
Right? So what's going to happen is, so there's no longer anything preventing the studios, which have some capital and resource and some inflow of money, the ones that produce the content. They could come into the rescue and go, all right, Disney's going to slap a big Mickey ears on this, and it's us. Now, they're going to be fair, and about 20% of programming will be to other ancillary brands that are still, subdivisions and owned and on the same kind of team, if you will. But that's okay now because they lifted that law. And so that's luckily positioned and timed so that Universal can come in and partner with AMC. I think there is already a strong partnership with Universal AMC, dropping the exclusivity window to 17 days. Now and giving theater owners, AMC, a profit sharing on the streaming after the 17-day window opens up for video on demand. So Universal said, we'll give you the product, but we're only going to do it for 17 days. And theaters go, we don't like that. We want it longer, exclusivity. And they go, well, we're going to give you a cut of after it's no longer exclusive. And they went, okay, that's a good deal. So already there's things propping up theaters that it's, at least most of them. I don't know about Cinemark. I don't know about Laemmle. I'm really scared about Laemmle out here, Arrow Theater and stuff here in LA. Where do you live? You're in
Louisville.
Louisville. So yeah, that's all. It's show business, entertainment industry, and I just kind of take care of the show and the entertainment. The whole business industry part of it is huge. It's billions and billions of dollars, and I don't pretend to understand
it. That is my dream at the moment, is to open up an independent theater that serves really nice beer and some really nice bar snacks. You can go in there.
I held that dream for a while. Now I've designed the theater and I have schematics. So your typical little lobby, and that's great. You got a on-tap bar, and you also got your candy counter and stuff. Now, when you go into the theater, the back few rows are in plexiglass, and it's a lounge area, and it's soundproof, and you can actually kind of drink and sit in kind of like captain's chairs, and more of a lounge social area or a classroom setting for a teacher to actually lecture to 20 students at a time while Jaws or Raiders or Star Wars is playing, or Doctor Strangelove are playing behind them. So it's soundproof and there's of course little ear things if you really need to think, but there's little like speakers in there too so you can hear the film. It's more about analysis in these rear rows. And then the theater itself has the Alamo Draft House style lounge chairs, drink holders, all that stuff. So yeah, serve booze, serve food, snacks. Oh, and in the back few row plexiglass kind of self-contained area, think more of like a engineering booth at like a looping or something like that. There's a spiral staircase that goes up the projection room, and you can go up there and talk to projectionists and see the equipment and get a hands-on on the other end of making movies. First, you got to capture an image, then you got to display an image.
Nice. That's a great idea, man. Well, I'd like to thank you very much.
Oh, and it's also a theater. So not only is it a film theater, but it's also got tunnels backstage down under into the lobby to the restrooms, little backstage area, small 6-fly system for some curtains and flats, and you can do theater productions, small theater productions as well. We're talking 300, maybe 500 seat theater, something small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly what my wife and I were talking about. Like you can have live music there too, and
Yep.
Live theater as well. But
done.
I mean, I used to live in Nashville for a while, and we had a place called the Belcourt Theater down there, and it's been there since the early 1900s. And they used to do midnight movies and helped a lot of independent film and just all those things that didn't go to the big theaters always played there. And it always left a mark every time I went in there because you could feel the history in it.
And another reason I bring up putting a plexiglass thing in the back for educational purposes, lectures, that kind of analysis, is because a lot of movie companies and rights holders are no longer granting rights for single theater distribution one-night showings. They say there's no money in it for us. We're focused on new catalog and everything's digital. Go to hell. Not in those words, but watch Julia Marchese's Out of Print, which is great about the transition from 35 millimeter print projections to digital projections, the extra costs and digital rights management that go with that. It could be physically impossible for you to show something in the future.
Yeah.
Physically impossible. And, I read Fahrenheit 451 and I read 1984. And we don't really need things to go down the memory hole. Somewhere there's original prints and original cuts of films, and those need to be preserved so that little things aren't cut out. Products or sponsors or songs have to be changed because of licensing reasons. Watching Fast Times at Ridgemont High on television is tough because there's just a few music cues that aren't the same as when it came out the theater.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I mean, it's watching certain horror movies that are being reproduced now from what they were, even from the original DVD releases, where they cut certain songs or edit certain songs out and put new ones in to movies from the 80s that have certain songs on them that are key to that soundtrack. It's disheartening. Shit, this was I'm just gonna say it, Return of the Living Dead. A certain punk band that was on there is no longer on the most updated DVD release.
I guess do changes with the RIAA and licensing from then to now. The closer a song is released to now, easier the licensing and stuff could be negotiated. Once you get back into analog paper records, small offices in lots of states and lots of independent record labels, it does get harder to find and track down the license and the owner of those songs. And so as we get kind of further in the past in the 80s, and especially the early 80s, do seem to be hit hard by Miami Vice television series. Had to change a lot of music when releasing it on DVD sets.
Well,
listen, great talking to you, Jeff.
Yeah, likewise, man.
Great cheering up
I
here.
love the Cure print in the back. Or is it a printed record?
Yeah, it's a stencil on an LP.
Oh, yeah, man. Badass.
And we've also got our copies of I don't even think I've opened some of these. Duran Duran.
Nice.
Girls on Film demo. I got Katie we got Greta Van Fleet, which is a pretty interesting. Hey, you want to go see Led Zeppelin again? Go see Greta Van Fleet.
Well, man, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No, I appreciate it, man. Cheers.
Cheers. Good luck with everything you're doing in the future. And greatly appreciate you sitting down and shooting the shit with me.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on. You take care.
You too.
Rock and roll.